Hey everyone, welcome back to Bangkok, Thailand. Today I've just arrived and I'm going to share with you a guide to everything that I do when I first get to the airport, getting all the way back here into the city for the first couple hours of my travel. So when you first get off your airplane at the Bangkok terminal, you go immediately to immigration to check in. Now you're going to see a lot of people that are going to be filling out forms and stuff at an area called the Visa on Arrival thing. And most of the ones when I was there, in fact all of them, I think there was about 10,000 people from India there that were, I'm exaggerating, but it was tons of them that were filling out all these forms furiously. You, if you are from one of 64 countries, are not coming in on visa arrival, you're coming in visa exempt. So if you're from the United States or Australia or Canada, the United Kingdom, most of Europe, then you're actually coming in visa exempt. So you go straight in through immigration. And unlike when I came in 2 years ago, you really only have to have, if you're one of those visa exempt places, two really important documents. And one of them, obviously your passport. You have to have that anytime that you go through immigration. And there's certain requirements on there about having 2 unused pages and so forth in it. I won't go into all of those. Those are similar to every country. But you also have to have your boarding pass. And I have never been to a country other than Thailand to where I had to actually have my boarding pass. And I had to have that back when I flew into the Sandbox in Phuket back in 2021. They're still requiring that. Well, a lot of people had left their boarding pass on the plane, myself included. I had forgotten about that, but I had it on my phone, and so they were fine with that. Show me your phone, and they would let you in. But there was a gentleman to the next of me, he was one in front of me and one over, from Canada that was coming in to Bangkok, and he didn't have his physical boarding pass and he didn't have one on the phone. He had left the paper one on the plane, and immigration told him, go back to the plane and get it. Now I have no idea if that boarding pass was still there or what kind of headache that man was going to have going back there, finding anything, getting anything for the immigration. But they are serious about having a boarding pass or some sort of itinerary from the airport to where they can identify the flight that you came in on from outside of Thailand. Now, I was unable to film either immigration or the customs area, which I'm about to talk to you about, because those are restricted areas and filming's strictly not allowed, so I'm having to tell you about it. But the next point after immigration you go to is you go and pick up any checked bags you have, and then you go through customs. If you have anything to declare, you declare it. If not, you go on through unless you're flagged down. And then you enter the arrival section at the airport. All right guys, I'm right off the plane in Bangkok and just arrived. So I'm going to show you all exactly what I do when I first get here into Bangkok, the airport, and how you get around in the first hour. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get situated. So one thing, you're going to need some Thai baht in order to get around. So when you go in, you will see these exchange places that unfortunately charge you. They don't charge you any fees, but the exchange rate is very bad. So when I looked at the thing there this morning, it was 31.7 baht that they were giving you in the exchange rate, and the actual exchange is 34.80 at this point. So you're basically losing 3 baht for every US dollar that you're exchanging, if you're exchanging in US dollars. Now you add that up to $100, all of a sudden you have lost $10 worth of purchasing power because they're not giving you a very good rate. Obviously, if you're not at the airport, you get better rates when you get into town, but they're probably not your best option. The next best option, or the best option at the airport, is to use the ATMs. Specifically, if you have a debit card that will refund your fees, they're going to charge you about $5 US to withdraw money. Doesn't matter if you're doing $1 or $1,000, it's going to be the same international fee. But if you've got a card, like I use Charles Schwab, and they don't pay me a dime. I wish they did because I love the company, but I use them, and at the end of each month they refund both my domestic and my foreign ATM fees. So basically I get the mid-market rate, which is it is basically the exchange rate. I've never really had them try to mess with me on the exchange rate. It's pretty much been whatever it's been trading for, and I get my fees refunded, so it doesn't really cost me anything. And that's the best way to get you some baht so that you can get into town and pay for some incidentals on the way there. Also, while you're at the airport, you might want to go ahead and get a local SIM for your phone. I certainly did that. I went in, I'm only going to be in Bangkok for, I'm not going to be here for a full week, so I got an 8-day plan that had 15 gigabytes of data, which is plenty for anything I would be doing other than uploading videos or something, and it gives me a local phone number. That whole thing, including the SIM, and for that last 8 days, cost me 299 baht. So really good deal. If you get away from the airport and you want to get a 1-month plan or something like that, you're going to be here a longer term, you can certainly do this, but this gives you data the second you get here so that you can take Grab or Uber, or you can, you know, check exchange rates, or you can talk to somebody through Messenger or whatever else. You've got data to get you going immediately. Now, the next thing that you might want to do, this is optional, but I chose to do it when you're in Bangkok, is if you're only going to be in for, you know, 4 or 5 days, something like that, and you don't want to bring checked baggage all the way back to the hotel, carry that, have to worry about it, you can, on the B level, right near where the train is, all the way at the back, on the left-hand side rather than the right-hand side where you go to the train, you can actually check your checked luggage, or any luggage that you want to, and you can pay 100 baht per day for them to store it. Now, you might think that's a little pricey, but at the end of the day, you don't have to lug that luggage all the way in. It's safe. I've never heard of anybody having a problem there doing that. And then when you come back to the airport to leave, you can simply pick those bags up and be done with it. You know, 2 floors up, you're checking in to the airport, it's all right there, and you're not lugging those all across town or having to dig into them at your hotel. So me, I just carried a backpack in with what I would need for the 4 or 5 days that I would be here in Bangkok. So the very next thing I have to do, and you would too, is you have to figure out a way to get from the airport into Bangkok, especially if you're going to be in central Bangkok, which is where I'm at now. And so other than renting a car or having somebody pick you up, there's essentially 2 ways to do it. One is to take a taxi, and so if you're there late at night after the rail lines have stopped running, which I think is midnight, that may be your only option. You can barter with them. They have metered ones. Generally, from what everybody's told me, especially after hours, you're going to be looking at about 500 baht, whatever the exchange rate is where you're at today. You can look that up to take you all the way from the airport, drop you at your hotel in the city center. The other way is to take the express line or the city line, which is a rail link that has 8 stops on it. One is at the airport, and then it has its terminus down in central Bangkok, in the area where basically you're going to want to be for the most part. And to do that, you go down to the B level at the airport, you follow the red lines to the express line, and you end up paying, I paid 45 pesos to go from there all the way to the end of the line. And I'll flash up on the screen the name of the terminus place that I did. From there, I could go over to the BTS line, and I could transit to wherever I needed to be, which was about 4 stops away from that location. And I think that cost me an additional 35 pesos. So pesos, baht. I'm not in the Philippines. I'm confusing baht with Filipino pesos, but it's Thai baht, not pesos. If I said pesos throughout this video, just ignore me. I've been traveling for 30 hours. All right, once you're in town here to Bangkok, you want to go get you a hotel. And so there are so many options here in Bangkok to choose from. You can go really high end, which would probably cost you about $100 US. So that would be like for a crappy hotel back in the United States. Or you can get a really good, what I would call mid-range hotel for so little money. We're talking, I'm paying, I think, $32 a night. That includes breakfast for 2, because I've got my wife here with me. She met me in Bangkok, and we're gonna hang out for a few days and have a little kid-free time in this wonderful country. But we got a great buffet breakfast every single morning. It's in the middle of the city central in a capital city in Southeast Asia. It is pretty outstanding. And you could not get a place as nice as this with a swimming pool, with the quality that we have here, even in Manila, really, most of the time for these prices, and certainly not in the United States or the United Kingdom in a capital city. I like Manila. I obviously love the Philippines, but the value for your money here in Thailand for accommodations, I have never in my entire life, in all of my travels, found what Thailand can match. It is one of their largest strengths as a world traveler. And one of the reasons that I come back here, besides that I love it, and the fact that you guys in the poll said you wanted to see more of Southeast Asia, so I skipped the national parks and stuff in the United States and came back here to do it. But it's one of the reasons I love this country, because I can come over here, I can travel so affordably, and in all honesty, that's more than you would need to pay, especially if you were a solo traveler, wanted lower accommodations. You can really, really stretch your money in this wonderful city. And I'm looking so forward over the next few days to try to show y'all as much as I can about this city while still having a personal life and getting some business done. But I'll show y'all as much as I can. I hope y'all stick around. I hope this was valuable content to you that you can use if you've never been here before, that can kind of help you steer yourself around. Thanks for watching so much, and I'll see you in the next video.